And on today's show for the Liebert Fitness for All podcast, we have Peter Morel, who is the founder and co-owner of TopShape Fitness Consulting Incorporated. Peter, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm doing okay myself. We're going through a bit of a heat wave here in Ontario, so we're just probably trying to get the H2O into us at this point in time.
Definitely hot in Ontario. Definitely not conducive weather to be training outdoors, brother.
No, not at all. So can you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and how you started your fitness journey, just being a healthier person?
All right. It's a pretty long story, but I'll try to condense as much as possible. We've been in the health and fitness industry for 27 years now. We own and operate a fully accessible fitness facility in Ottawa called the TopShape Fitness Studio, which is working with everyone from able-bodied athletes all the way to people with many, many types of mobility impairments. And how we first got started, I was in the nightclub industry 30 some years ago and quite disillusioned about where I was and where I was going within that industry. Obviously, it's a go nowhere industry. You can only go so far. And my next door neighbor, who is my business partner now, Mike Hayden, was working in a bar himself. And actually, he was going to university. He was in Carleton U taking a law degree. And I sat down with him one day and said, listen, I'm just completely disillusioned with what it is I'm doing. I need to find another line of work. He said, well, let's sit down. Let's go through things that you like to do. And one of the things that kept coming up was I like to go to the gym. I was working in a nightclub, not necessarily the healthiest place to be, but I still managed to get to the gym 3-4 days a week. And he said, back in those days, health and fitness was really starting to boom. The industry was really starting to get quite large, and people were coming up with new ideas and new classes and all kinds of stuff. And he said, "Listen, why don't you take a fitness course or personal training course or something somewhere?" He says, "I'll even go with you just for fun to take it, kind of as a continuing education course." So I enrolled in my first of 4 certification courses, which was at the YMCA here in Ottawa, and he jumped in, and I opened about 3 months after graduating from that course and getting a degree in personal training from the YMCA of Canada, opened my own business called TopShape Personal Training, where I was doing in-home, traveling from house to house to house, doing in-home training. And one of the directors at the Y came up to Mike and I and said, listen, we are developing a pilot project for the Y of Canada through the whole country to bring in personal training in the YMCA. And if you guys help me, I'll hire you guys on as my first 2 personal trainers. So we were definitely on board with that. And we helped build the program in Canada for the Y in personal training. And we're hired on here in Ottawa at the Metro Central YMCA downtown, and worked there for 3.5 years while at the same time we built our business up. And in 1995, we bought our first property, built a gym, opened our private personal training studio, and the rest is history.
That is a really detailed and exciting story, considering where you started from.
Exactly.
To get into a new just a new career altogether.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a definite need to change careers, and that was the biggest thing that fueled the whole idea. And we obviously took more certification courses, and we audited kinesiology courses at the University of Ottawa through a friend of ours, Dr. Reed, who, as far as I know, still teaches there. And we've been doing adaptive training, and I've been working as a specialist in adaptive training now, working with para athletes, mobility impairments. We have absolutely everything you could possibly think of. I work from, working with cancer patients to PTSD to amputees, spinal cord injuries, traumatic brain injury. I've worked with the Invictus Games with injured and ill military for about 16 years now. So it's grown quite a bit in the last 25 years.
Oh, absolutely. Now, how do you train each individual person that comes in? Because everyone has something different. So And you talk about how you're one of the leading experts in training or
Right.
training adaptive athletes. So
Right.
how did that all come about, that story?
Well, again, we were working at the Y, and I was thinking that, I needed a little bit of a niche, and obviously being a person with spina bifida myself and being an adaptive person, I said, well, that would be a great niche to get into, because there's not a lot of people working in that field in the health and fitness industry in Ontario, for that matter, especially here in Ottawa. And so I started to develop a program, and I developed a program over the years. And now I've got a 32-page training manual called Adaptive Fitness for Professionals, where I travel all over Canada and train personal trainers in adaptive fitness protocols to teach them how to work with a huge variety of mobility impairments. Basically, the physiology is exactly the same. The way that I or you or anyone with a mobility impairment bounces back from fitness training is exactly the same as any other human being on the planet. The only thing that needs to be changed is the adaptation to the program itself to allow for the differences in mobility impairments. There's no universal program. There's no cookie cutter program that works. You have to be, like you said, very, very, very individualistic, because one person with CP and another person with CP are two completely different things. One person, depending on the spinal cord injury, I could have two guys with level C4 spinal cord injuries, and one has tricep ability and one doesn't. So it's very individualistic, and what we try to stress as much as we possibly can when teaching other fitness professionals about working with people with mobility impairments is the evaluation process, the open-ended questions and what to ask, and how to really develop an individual program for each person that works for them, and how to adapt the program for that person.
And, with you talking about this, I was also wondering, as far as, motivation, because that's a big part of it, and you need to motivate your clients.
Right.
So is it the same motivating, whether it's an able-bodied or a person that's adaptive, or do you find that you have to motivate more, the adaptive, or is it just kind of all individualized? And to that point, how do you motivate everyone?
I mean, it's fairly basic. Motivational techniques are fairly basic across the board. And I find that people with mobility impairments are just as motivated as anyone else. A para-athlete is just as motivated as any other athlete to get done and to win and to be a champion than anyone else. Same with, anyone who comes in to me with a prescription from a doctor for health and fitness. Somebody with a traumatic brain injury, for example, comes in and says, my doctor says I need to get in shape. Well, then obviously there's their motivation. The doctors push them to tell them that they need to get fit. And most people that have any knowledge of health and fitness know that it's obviously a good thing to do no matter what anyways. As far as motivating them, we have a very extensive cancellation procedure. If you're just calling me up in the day of and saying, listen, I don't feel like working out, you lose your session with your trainer on that day, and you're still ending up paying for it. And $85 an hour, there's your motivation to get your butt into the gym. So most people will pretty much show up. That's a good start. Once they're here, then they're mine or one of our trainers, and then we are going to lead you through possibly the best workout that we can for that individual, depending on, again, the design of the program.
And you really scared me when you said, once they're here, they're mine. So.
Oh yeah, they belong to us, and that's it. We're getting worked out. Like, you get to the door, we're going to get a workout in no matter what. And it's going to be the best workout possible for you. That's what we do at TopShape, is we make sure that we know absolutely everything we possibly can about each client. Our evaluation procedure is extremely extensive. It's one of the most extensive evaluations in the industry. And we know we do flexibility tests, strength tests, endurance tests, cardio tests, hormone analysis, dietary analysis. We look at absolutely everything. We want to know everything we possibly can about where you are as far as your level of fitness is right now. And then we design a program step by step to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah, and that seems very intensive to go over that. So when somebody walks through the door, kind of what's your tagline, or kind of how do you introduce yourself and your company? And for a first session, you
Right.
would do all that, what you just talked about in regards to all of those tests?
Well, see, most of the time it begins either with a phone call or a website search, and or both. Someone will look at our website and then give us a call and say, "Listen, I'm looking to get in shape. I really don't know what I'm doing in the gym. I know I need a personal trainer. How can you guys help?" Well, first of all, we'll come on down. We'll give you a complimentary consultation. We'll show you the facility. We'll sit and chat with the customer about what their goals are and what it is they want to do and what we think we can do to help them. And then from there, we could design a fitness evaluation for that person. So the first step is come in, do the consult. Second step, do the fitness evaluation, which takes on average about an hour and a half to complete the full evaluation. Then what they do is they go home, we design the program, we consult with whoever it is we need to consult with. If we need to consult with a doctor, a dietitian, or whatever the case may be, we do that consultation process with them. We design that person's program. They come back in again. We do a full orientation session with the client, one-on-one in the gym with the trainer, teaching them their breathing protocols, cardiovascular protocols. We go over the exercises on their program, the technique, the form, and all of that, one-on-one with them. And then as they begin their personal training, we reiterate all of the things that are taught on the orientation.
And I know that, being a trainer such as yourself, some trainers, they have a certain tool or a piece of equipment that they are their favorites at the end of the day. Like, as an example, with Levered Fitness, they love to use their levered equalizers to use people to help get them in shape.
Right.
Do you have any such tool that's your go-to?
We have a lot of stuff in our facility, and depending, again, if it's an able-bodied person, obviously they can use absolutely everything that's in the facility. If it's someone with a mobility impairment that's impaired and can't transfer from a wheelchair to a seat, for example, we have a lot of things that we can just pull the seats right out and they can roll right in with their chair and use the equipment. So the equipment is very much adaptable, and that's, it's fairly simple to adapt almost any piece of equipment in any facility. I pride myself on being able to teach any personal trainer to adapt any program for any person anywhere in any facility anywhere in the world. So I mean, even with just a set of dumbbells, you can get a pretty darn good workout for almost your complete body if you know what you're doing. So it's pretty safe to say we can adapt almost anything in our facility to anyone that comes in. We really haven't been stumped yet, knock on wood. Which is a good thing. But again, so we've got a huge variety of everything you can possibly think of, Cam. Like, we've had everybody. We've had amputees, wheelchair, spinal cord, PTSD, brain injuries. We've got cancer survivors. I've got pretty much everything you can think of, MS, cerebral palsy. Yeah. So.
No, absolutely. And that's good that you have, a lot of different equipment and that you're so adaptable, because that's basically what the world is like. And I think really, it's coming time where you're going to have the baby boomers come in, and they're getting to that age now where, they're going to be having a lot of different disabilities. And I think the world is going to have to be adaptable because a lot of the population is going that way. So
we're looking at 4.7 million people in Canada right now that say they have some form of mobility impairment. So, and that's growing, like you say, with the baby boomers, that's growing every day. So it's definitely going in the wrong direction for the country, but the right direction for us at TopShape. But like I say, it's going to create a fairly large healthcare strain if a lot of these people aren't taught that they can keep in shape and be in shape and learn how to get there relatively quickly.
And as far as for the Ottawa area, because that's where your club is, it's a lot of word of mouth where people join your club, or how does that work for you?
We get a lot of word of mouth. We get a lot of hits from our website. We also get a ton of referral work from doctors and physicians and different clinics in the area. And we have a lot of specialty programs that are really, really popular. My business partner, Mike Hayden, is the person who runs our PAR prep course. So we do military, police, fire, and a first responders course for people to pass the physical fitness evaluations that each of those different jobs needs to be able to pass in order to get in, just to get into the courses. So that's a pretty popular program that fills up really, really quick every month here at TopShape. So we have 6 trainers on staff that are all experts in different fields, let's say. So depending again on what a person is looking to achieve, what they want to do, when they come to us, we try to set them up with the proper trainer to be able to make sure that they're achieving the goals.
And you mentioned about some of the programs that you have. Do you want to talk a little bit more about some of the programs you have, and maybe one of the programs that sets you apart from some of the other?
We some of the more popular ones we have right now, we have the PAR prep, obviously, that's running really, really crazy. We have the adaptive fitness program where we're working with a ton of different people with, again, everything you can possibly imagine. We have a weight management program run by one of our trainers, Andrea, who works with people that have weight management issues, body composition problems. We have a sports-specific training conditioning specialist on hand. One of our trainers, Yannick, who is a college-level basketball player, played in NCAA in the U.S., played in college here in Canada, and became a strength and conditioning specialist, works with a lot of different sports and stuff like that. So if we get somebody comes in and says, my son is an up and coming hockey player and needs a good trainer, needs a good program, Yannick is the guy that will either work one-on-one with that person, or he will design the program, the periodization for the cycles of the different programs for that hockey player, and one of the trainers will establish that program and work with the person one-on-one. So that's a lot about the specialty programs. And then we have a couple of trainers that are just generalists. So if you're just coming in, you're just looking to get fit, you want work on your diet, you want to change your body composition, then we have a bunch of trainers that can take those clients on at any time as well.
Perfect. And, I definitely have to ask about your para sports as well, because we have been combatants as far as para ice hockey. So,
yes, I've been on the receiving end of a check from Cam Jenkins once or twice, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well, maybe once or twice, but that's the point I wanted to make there. What I did want to talk about, though, is do you want to talk about kind of the achievements that you've had in the para sports world? Because I know you've done para ice hockey, and I believe a bit of, what was it? I know you did something else as well, rowing?
I was a Paralympic rower for 8 years, on the Canadian program, and went to 2 world championships. I worked with some para rowing, developed a para rowing program here in Ottawa with the Ottawa Rowing Club. So I was working with that, worked with some of the athletes there, worked with sledge hockey athletes, Canadian national sledge hockey athletes in our gym. We've got some medal winners there. Worked with a Paralympic power lifter, some skiers. Worked with a para sailor. Now I'm working with a potential world champion canoe kayaker in para kayak. There's been a lot of good athletes come through our doors, and thank God they motivate us, and they motivate a lot of our clientele, and our clients see somebody coming in and working as hard as they do, and they can't believe it, and they look at them and say, wow, that guy really trains hard. And I'm like, that guy's a Paralympic athlete, and he has the motivation and the drive with his disability to come in every day and work out as hard as he can. So your excuse is invalid, sorry. So it really wakes a lot of people up when they see people come in and train with the mobility impairments that they have. The able-bodied clientele, so-called able-bodied clientele that we have, really come around and say, I have no excuse not to get in the gym, which is great for us.
No, absolutely, it is. And it just goes to show towards your character and how good it is, because I was asking about your parasports career and you brought it back to other people and other people helping themselves. So that's, that's you, and that's a good thing. So
thanks. No, I rode on the para team. I've played, sledge hockey, as you know, for 20 years now, and just on the competitive level, but local competitive level. It's a great sport. Love it. It's one of the best para sports there is out there. And then I got into rowing just actually for fun, for recreation one day, and the para coach who was looking to start a program here in Ottawa came up to me and said, do you want to compete? Are you interested in competing? And I'm like, I guess, if you think I have the potential to compete, at the highest level, then sure, I'm in. I mean, I would love to try to push myself and see if I can use my skills as a strength coach and personal trainer to, if I can get myself to that level, then I'm pretty sure I can help anyone else do it as well. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Right. And to kind of finish off our little chat today, what is it that you've learned over the years from either your fitness, your training people, being in parasports? Has there kind of been one common theme that you kind of go by now because of what you've learned over the years?
There's a bunch of stuff, Cam, to be honest, but I think the biggest one is that, like we started off with, is that there's no individualistic approach to health and fitness. There's no mass approach to health and fitness. It needs to be an individualistic approach. It needs to be fine-tuned for every person that comes through the door. There's no such thing as a cookie cutter program for everybody. Not everyone can train the same level, the same intensity, the same amount of time every day. Everybody needs to be looked at as exactly that, as an individual, and they need to be taken care of as an individual, and they need to be trained for every little thing that may change within their life that could affect the chances of success in the gym.
Absolutely. Well said. Well, thank you so much, Peter, for being on the podcast today. We do really appreciate it. You've been listening to the founder and co-owner of the TopShape Fitness, and that's in Ottawa. Did you want to give some of your details in case anyone wants to get in touch with you?
Sure, Cam, no problem. They can look at our website. It's www.topshape.ca. And our phone number is 613 area code 236-3670. And they can message me at peter@topshapeinc.com. And I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone has. It was a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. It's been a long time, and hope to see you this winter.
Absolutely. You'll probably see me around the rink, and don't take it personally when I don't go for your team, because I'm cruisers all the way. So.
No problem at all, buddy.
Thanks for being on the podcast, and I'm sure we'll chat soon.
My pleasure. Take care of yourself, Cam.